Hi, this is Kevin with Fountain Pen Revolution, and today, instead of an instructional video, I thought I'd share with you how Fountain Pen Revolution got started, what got me into fountain pens, and how we grew from there. And believe it or not, it all starts off not with fountain pens, but with my terrible penmanship and being a cheapskate in general. The story is that back in around 2010, I was living abroad. I was living in the country of India with my terrible handwriting. And most of the people of that country have really good handwriting. It's just taught and valued in the school system. And so I would regularly get made fun of because my handwriting was terrible. I actually found an example. Whenever I read the Bible, I write down notes, and this is just qualities of God. I think this is from around 2010. You can see how terrible that penmanship is. And so I would regularly get made fun of for my bad handwriting. And so I had a goal in 2010 that I was going to work on my handwriting. And as you might guess, this quickly led me to try to get a fountain pen. Read online that using a fountain pen would help me slow down my handwriting and improve it. And so I went to a stationery shop and got my very first cheap Pierre Cardin fountain pen. And as cheap as it was, I instantly fell in love. I loved writing with it, loved the smooth feel of the nib on the paper as opposed to a ballpoint pen. But after about a month, the pen stopped working, and I cleaned it and took it apart and all that kind of stuff, but it just wasn't a very well-made pen, so I wanted to get a better pen. But remember, I'm a cheapskate, so there's no way I was going to go out and I was going to spend $100 or $200 or $300 on a fountain pen. So what I did is I went on a website you might be familiar with called Fountain Pen Network and started researching, what are some good pens, and this got me into vintage fountain pens and decided, what I can do is I'll get some old pens that aren't working and I'll restore them. We're actually shooting this video at the table I use for pen restoration. And I'll restore those pens and I'll keep one that I like and maybe I'll just sell the others. But in the context of doing research on how to do pen restoration on Fountain Pen Network, I was contacted by a guy who lived in Arkansas. And he said, hey man, I see you're over in India and I'd really like to get my hands on some Indian-made pens. And he had a list of these brands. And I'd never heard of any of them before. I didn't even know there was such a thing as Indian-made pens. But I said, hey, no problem. I'll go to the stationery shop and I'll ask around and I'll see if I can find what you're looking for. And so I took my list and I went to the stationery shop that was up the road. And sure enough, they had some of these brands. And I contacted these guys and this guy, and he said, I'd love to buy them off of you. And he kept sending me lists of other pens that he wanted. And it was sort of a fun, hide and seek, where are these pens found? Where can I find them? Type adventure, and I'd find these pens and I'd let him know about them. And this led me to think, maybe there's more people than just this one guy out there that would be interested in these low cost but well writing pens. And so I started listing them on that same website, Fountain Pen Network, and people were buying them. And after doing this for a while, I thought, what if maybe I just started my own website and I could put some of these Indian pen brands, we're talking about stuff like Camlin Pens, if you've ever heard of that company before, or the Surwex company out of Delhi or out of Mumbai, the Airmail pen company. And I could just list these pens on the website and, maybe I'd sell $200 or $300 worth of them a month. So I built the website, nothing impressive by any means, and instantly it took off. A lot more than I expected it would. There really was some demand out there for, I guess, other cheapskates like me who wanted a pen that would write well but wouldn't cost an arm and a leg. And so then we just started doing more and more business with these Indian manufacturers. Well, one thing you need to know is that the fountain pen market in India has been on the decline over the last couple of decades. School kids don't write with them anymore. In general, only business professionals write with fountain pens, and they usually try to get an imported pen. And so the fountain pen market was really struggling. And so as I would interact with these manufacturers, what I found is they were excited about doing business with me and were even open to making some adjustments to their molds and helping me create pens and then eventually nibs that would be more marketable to a Western audience. And so that's when we got into creating things like the FPR Indus or the FPR Jaipur, a little broader pen than is common in the Indian market. We eventually got into some ebonite and acrylic pens. This is a handmade ebonite pen that we have made in India, or this FPR Himalaya, an acrylic pen, also comes in ebonite. And then it's just sort of grown from there, adding more products, talking to customers, finding out what they're interested in, and talking to these manufacturers and seeing if we can build something like that. And it's been a lot of fun. It's grown. We're still growing. We're looking forward to adding some more products. And back to my handwriting, I still wouldn't say it's amazing, but here's a more recent list, same list of qualities of God that I write down. That's a little bit better handwriting. But anyway, that's the story of Fountain Pen Revolution. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks so much for watching.